Hey, what's going on, everybody? Mike here from Ace Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're here in Acura Pembroke Pines with our 2023 Acura Integra A-Spec. Now in the last episode, we went ahead and lowered the car with eye-box spring and also a set of Mugen MDC wheels. Now over here we have an entire table with the performance part from PRL. Now we're gonna go ahead and open up all the boxes and John can tell you guys a little bit more about them. All right, John, seems like we got a whole lot going on here.
Yeah, it looks like we have almost everything that PRL has that we're pretty sure is going to work on the Integra by checking part numbers and
John,
crossover.
I just want to show them something real quick. See all the goodies here? Take a look at that.
Yeah.
Boxes.
Yeah, you know, toys come in boxes. That's half the fun. So we have everything here. We're going to start with our intake. This is the stage 2 intake, right, Mike? I guess they have a stage 1, which is a drop-in filter and a resonator delete, but this is their stage 2 intake, and it comes with this piece, it comes with this adapter.
It's pretty neat right here.
Yeah, this looks like where the vent will go in and hook up to the factory ducting. This is the adapter for the mass airflow filter, or I should say sensor, and the filter adapter. That will mount inside of here. Now going on from that, we have our end tank here. I'm not totally sure where this one's gonna go yet, because we have some other pieces here that looks like it adapts onto the side. Looks like this also will adapt onto the side. Everything we have here isn't just one kit. This is the entire kit. If you want to install just the intercooler to your factory pieces, this is what you get. If you want to install your intercooler and use the charge pipe kit that they have, then we have different adapters as well. So we also have our high flow cat, and all of this stuff is getting CARB certified. They're in the process of that. And that'll make it, what, 50 state legal? Is that what it is? We also have our billet lower mount with solid rubber inserts in here. This will help when we shift on the car. As you can see right here, made in the USA. Everything is in-house CNC'd, outsourced where it needs to be for fabrication. We also have I know Mike, you were saying it before, this is more of the, like a Type R style, if you will.
Retro OG design.
Yeah, really nice. We got that. We have our front pipe. This goes from the downpipe to the exhaust under the car. And you can see the turbo flex pipe built into this. Make sure that your manifold turbo and exhaust doesn't crack. We also have the intercooler. And as you can see, just like on our Type S intercooler, everything is larger diameter and CNC billet end tanks engraved with the PRL. It's very good looking. Then we have our silicone charge pipes and our hard pipe here with all of our adapters to bolt everything we need up to here and vacuum lines. So we got everything here. a bunch of stuff.
So where do we start, John? So there's a whole lot going on here.
Yeah, this is probably not gonna all get done in one night. So I think we're gonna start with pulling the front bumper off. We also have the illuminated emblem to do, that's our last piece, and do our intercooler charge piping and possibly the intake tonight. And on our next episode, or even we may put it all together, we're gonna be doing our exhaust, our strut bar, motor mount, downpipe. That's what it looks like to me, but if we don't get the car apart, I don't think we'll ever get the stuff on it. All right, so we have a whole lot going on under here, and we're gonna go ahead and start taking off a couple pieces to get the front bumper off. So it looks like we're gonna have to take off this vent here. We also are replacing this as well, and we have some clips to remove. So let's go ahead and start taking stuff apart. Got plugs. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start off by finishing off the factory accessories. This was our last one that I got. There are a couple more on the car that I did not purchase, but this is the last one that I bought that we didn't put on yet. So this is the illuminated black front emblem. So in order to install this, we have to remove the factory chrome one, and we also have to cut out behind it to compensate for this. So this is the, I should call it, transformer and fan for the LED system, all built into the back of this. So we have to cut out with a template like this, the grill where the emblem goes, so that this can pass through the car. So what we gotta start by doing is removing the emblem on the front of the car, the bumper I should say right now. Then we have to put our template on, then we have to cut it out. So let's go figure it out. All right, so we have our clips and our little zip ties in place, securing the harness where it needs to go. This is the plug that we have. Now we have to take the harness, and what this is gonna do is this is gonna go in line over by the headlight and give us our plug for here. So we're gonna install this on the car. So when we install the bumper, this will plug into here, just like the parking sensors did.
All right, so with the harness all done, I think we're ready for the PRL stuff.
Yeah, it's time for the goodies. So I guess we'll go ahead and start by taking out the factory air box, and that's going to give us a little bit more visual access to everything else. And also what we have here is, I know we have this piece here where we're going to transfer our boost sensors over. That goes straight to the throttle body. So like I said, we'll get this out, and then once this is out, we'll see what we have underneath. The intake will probably go back in last. So let's go ahead and start pulling her apart. There goes a hose clamp. That's our stock piece. Now let's compare this to what we're going to replace it with. We already have our one pipe that goes to the throttle body and holds our boost sensor and our air intake temp. We have that installed. This is the time for us to remove the intercooler. So we're not quite sure how everything lines up yet. So we're just going to go ahead and start by removing the bolts here. Then we'll remove the mounting bracket at the top, and then just start taking it apart and fitting everything to make sure everything fits properly. Once again, this has not been installed on any Integra yet. We're assuming it's the same as the Civic. So we're going to do some test fitting and see how it goes. So we have gaskets supplied with this that we're going to go ahead and install. Also, we're going to hook our stencil up to this and have the PRL insignia right on the front.
John, but before we do that, I mean, the size difference between the two is enormous. I mean, it's insanely larger than the stock unit.
You can see it's literally double the width of the core, and the length is pretty much the same, but take a look at the design of these plastic end tanks over the flow of these billet CNCs right into this piece here. Significant difference.
It's beautiful too.
The flow on this is going to be awesome. It's going to build boost nice and quick, and it's not going to heat sink. This is a major upgrade over the stock unit. Let's go ahead and get it fitted, and that way we can move on to the intake. So we're removing these little channels here. The factory intercooler would fit in there, but seeing as our intercooler is so much bigger, these are not going to be necessary and they're going to block us. So we're going to go ahead and take these off and put them in the hope they never have to go back on the car bin. So we have some high temp engine enamel paint here. Not that this will get that hot, but this is what we have laying around the shop. So we're gonna go ahead and use the Duplicolor. And we have the template set up here, so we should be able to see this really nice through the bumper. So we're gonna do some straight shots right down on here after we get it all shook up and do light coats. That was it.
Yep.
Towards you some. That's it. There it goes.
All right, so we got a bumper back together. Black emblem looking real nice up in the front, especially when it lights up.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen it outside in the dark, only here in the light, but you can already see how it's gonna look very nice.
So we have our intake box here, pretty much last thing we would do tonight.
So the intake box is really nice. What it does is it utilizes some of the factory parts from the stock airbox, like this rubber grommet. It does come with the supplied rubber grommet as well. It also, if you take a look over here, we have a new bracket that it comes with. We left it loose so we can get everything fitted properly. And it will also reuse this. And it will use this mounting hole here with this supplied bracket, and you use the parts from the factory one. And then also you got to make sure that you swap over your mass airflow meter. Very simple, goes right into here. Use the factory screws to put it back on. So we're going to go ahead and assemble everything and get it together.
All right, guys, we're making really good progress over here. We got the front end back together, and next up, we got a downpipe and the front pipe.
Oh yeah, and we also have a lower motor mount too. So I guess we were talking about it. We're not sure if we can sneak this out without pulling this off. We're gonna give it a good shot and see if it's doable, because if we don't have to take it off, we don't want to, but if we have to, we will. But I think the first thing we should do is take off the front pipe and the lower splash shield, because that attaches to the bottom of the downpipe. Once we have that off, we can work on taking the downpipe off. So we'll get it up in the air, get the splash shield off, and see about pulling it apart. Well, the first thing I found was the clamp that I dropped earlier. So we got that out from under here. We're gonna go ahead and remove this entire splash shield off the car to give us full access to everything. So we got a bunch of screws and we got a bunch of clips, and let's just go ahead and start taking them apart, take this whole thing off. All right, so we got the shield off. Man, it exposes everything. We get a good look at the bottom side of the transmission, the huge cat that's on it, and we can see our front pipe. And once we get these out of the car, you're gonna be able to see a side-by-side comparison. The new one is significantly larger. We can also see our rear lower mount, and it looks like, just for ease of doing this, once we get the front pipe out, we're gonna go ahead and do the front, or I should say the mount, just because it's gonna give us a lot more access. So we're gonna go ahead and start by removing these 3 bolts here, our mount on the exhaust, and we have some more bolts on the back side here, and it should come right on out the front. Let's take this thing apart, Mike. Beautiful. All right, so here we have our OEM front pipe and our PRL front pipe. This is a 3-inch mandrel bent, and you can see the overall diameter. I mean, I don't even know if this looks like it might be 2-inch or 2.5, yeah. Maybe 2 1/4.
Maybe 2 1/4.
Yeah, this thing is beautiful. You can see the brackets. We're gonna cross over our exhaust hanger here onto there, and all together you see, look at this. This is where it bolts up to the stock exhaust in the back, and beautiful. It comes with hardware, comes with new gaskets, because as you can see, Honda uses a crush gasket that sits inside. This is gonna now utilize this gasket to make sure the seal is good. It comes with all necessary hardware, and we also have our motor mounts. So you can see the design of this motor mount, it's pretty soft. And this is meant to stop the motor from flexing too far. Now this PRL one, it's solid, it's beefy, it's heavier, but it's gonna stop all that movement. And if you saw our video when we were on the dyno, you can really see the motor flexing. After we have all these goodies in and we go back to the dyno, you'll be able to visually see the difference this makes in the movement of the motor. So let's go ahead and start putting this stuff in the car. Well, that was definitely one of the easiest installs. That went absolutely painless. Let's get to the one that's a little bit more complicated. Not that it's more complicated, it's just it's got a whole lot more bolts than just two. So we'll start by taking off these lower brackets. We'll pop off the secondary O2 sensor. We'll leave it hanging. Then we'll go up top and start working up there. All right, so we have both the cats out here. We're gonna transfer over to these two brackets right here, and then we're gonna move this heat shield over to here as well. That's about all it's gonna take here, and then we'll get a good look at what the difference is between the two of these. So this cat is actually two catalytic converters in one. This is your primary, this is the secondary cat. So that's why the O2 sensor sits right in the middle of it, because when it monitors the O2 sensor that is in the turbo manifold that is pre-catalyst, and then it checks it here after the catalyst to make sure it can balance the fuel trims in order to have the least amount of emissions. This would be the secondary cat, which is usually on other cars located farther down the line, but they have it all together in one. This is probably a very expensive part. We're definitely not gonna get rid of this. We're gonna put it away somewhere safe. But a couple things that you can see is right down inside here, you can see the way this thing comes off the turbo. It is nice and smooth. And here, it's definitely not that smooth, and you can see it. It makes the turn pretty abruptly straight into that. And also you can see down here in this area, that nice 3-inch flange on there. So I mean, all we gotta do right now is transfer over the heat shield, pop this thing back in the car, and I think we're ready to shoot flames out of it. All right, so we have our O2 sensor installed. We have everything in except for the front pipe underneath. But since on this one, the O2 sensor, the secondary, is located farther downstream, we have to run a extension. So we're gonna go ahead and install that extension. So, you know, if you've ever worked on Hondas in your garage and you put a header on, you always got to give it a start before you put the exhaust on and hear how retardedly loud it was. It was pretty loud, but let's go ahead and throw our front pipe on and hook it up to the stock exhaust and see how it sounds with an exhaust. The only thing we got to do right now is transfer this over, then we can get everything bolted in. Yeah, you can hear the actual exhaust tone now, and I can also feel the engine a little bit more with that solid mount on the bottom. I really, really like that feeling from it. Can't wait to drive it and actually see how it feels.
I guess the only thing we have left is just a strut bar, right?
Oh yeah, we're ready to party with the strut bar.
What else do we got, John?
So we have our Prl Oil Cap, so let's go ahead and just knock that out. And we got our strut bar. This one should be pretty straightforward installation. I mean, we build motors here at the dealership. Hopefully I can figure out how to install an oil cap. It looks like it does not come with a gasket, so we're gonna have to transfer the gasket over. So let's go ahead and get a pick and do that. All right, so now we have our strut bar. It's kind of a throwback on the ITR strut bars with the round or the squared off construction on it. So this thing installs real easy. You gotta make sure your car's on the ground. We're gonna go ahead and take the nuts off the top of the strut tower, set this bad boy on, tighten it down, we're good to go. Perfect.
All right, guys, so we're going on the first test drive after all the PRL goodies under the hood. Let's see what we got here. It definitely sounds a lot better.
Oh yeah, you can hear it.
Again, I think I'm gonna switch seat with you just a little bit because obviously you drive this car a lot more than me, so you obviously would know the differences.
Oh yeah, yeah. But sound overall in the exhaust, we're definitely gonna notice it.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, a lot more responsive.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it spools so much faster.
Yeah, that turbo lag is a lot less now.
I'm gonna tell you right now, after we flash this computer, I think it'll be so much better.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a 9
Now
day
everything
difference.
is really gonna match.
Yeah, it's gonna
Especially
allow
after the tune too.
Oh yeah, when everything is synced together, it's gonna be beautiful.
Oh yeah, this thing is fun. Even on top, usually really flat. Actually, it's a lot better now, man.
Yeah, the power, it seems like it's coming in differently. It sounds cool.
Oh, it sounds so much nicer.
Yeah, it
You want
does.
to switch over here?
Sure.
But check out this projector. All right, so John's is behind the wheel, and guess what? I'm putting my seatbelt for sure.
Yeah, you're supposed to drive with the traction control off, I think.
John, I'm trying to say I don't trust you.
Well, going straight, I do pretty good, so we'll see. So, I really feel, I've been driving this car every day, and every time we put a mod on it, I try and drive the car a certain way so I can feel the difference. And 100%, I can feel the responsiveness in the throttle, and the sound in the car is awesome too. I'm very, very happy with these mods, and with the intercooler, after driving for some time and pull after pull, we're not going to have a heatsink issue where our power is going to fall off. So it's very nice. I'm really looking forward to doing the shift knob and the E85 mix flex fuel sensor, if you will, because everyone says that makes all the difference. And the engine doesn't bang anymore when I shift. The motor mount. I totally forgot about the motor mount.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention it before.
Oh my God.
We totally forgot
right.
about the motor mount. The motor mount, you feel it at idle just a little bit with the AC on, not much. But man, the shifts are incredible.
You're so right, because earlier when you hit first, second,
It
normally would just bang.
Boom.
Yeah, that's completely
Nope.
gone
Yeah.
away.
Motor mount, man. Drivability is awesome with that motor mount. Must definitely say that.
So happy with this setup.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys, we got so much done on today's video, so why don't we do a quick recap? So we started off with the factory OEM LED front emblem, then we move on to the PRL intercooler along with the piping, high volume intake, a downpipe along with the front pipe, then we finish off with a billet oil cap and also the retro style front strut bar. Now that is a complete performance package from PRL. You guys want to check them out and all this cool stuff. We're going to go ahead and put a link right down in the description, and also definitely check them out at prlmotorsports.com. And John, what are we doing on the next few episodes?
So we have not done everything that PRL has out for it, but we also have a tune, a flash, if you will, from K-Tuner that has some preset flashes on there that are pretty generic. We may eventually go a little bit farther and get the car professionally dyno tuned. We also have a flex fuel sensor that we're gonna put in. If we can add a little E85 to the mix, that helps the turbo cars dramatically. And we have a very nice shift knob and collar kit from PRL as well for the car, and it's Duralon, so it's not hot when you get in the car, but it is still weighted. So it's a pretty neat setup on there.
Now with the flex fuel unit, we're gonna run into a little issue too as well, right, John?
Yeah, so we're pushing the limits of certain things on this motor. Mechanically, we're gonna be pretty safe with our engine as long as we keep our torque down with our tune. But that being said, these mods are pushing the clutch to their breaking point. So we are in talks with a couple different companies, and we're gonna see what our options are as far as an upgraded clutch goes, because that's gonna be the only thing that's gonna allow us to put the power to the ground. So,
guys, we have so much cool stuff coming on this series. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and also turn on that notification. Now, this is for this video. My name is Mike, and I got John right over there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week.